engage very close up with the orb when you're set up and ready to go. But first weapon does go to Acno, a bow, set up and ready. Unfortunately though, it's met with an orb and immediately Mounir comes out swinging. His aggressive orb playstyle, again, watching so many recent tournaments from him, loves to just engage no matter what and try to find those pivots.
Yeah, it's going to be very important. When Acno is able to play that mid-range, you're able to whiff punish orb really successfully, and Mounir's like, I'm not even going to try to play the undershoot-overshoot game. I'm literally just going to run at you. And we swap over to the spear, realizing Acno's in the air a lot. Let's go for anti-airs, and Acno has been really, really solid at controlling the space and also being just having really good control in the corner. But Mounir breaks them all with the side sig now, getting the recovery as well, almost enough to KO. But a weapon toss up and an immediate side sig on the spear will be a KO for Mounir to take first strike here in game number 1.
Well, Acno doesn't look too bad on the eye test, already deep orange for Mounir's front. However, if you look just purely at the gameplay, Mounir has had utter dominance on Demon Island itself. Acno finally has blasters though. This is a chance to bring it back. A recovery is out and Acno evening it up with just a few hits. Okay, it has been a big tidal wave in both directions for both players, but Mounir once again chooses to purely engage. But PJ, this is exactly how Acno got this far in the source code. He has just been running at people with Diana, and now Mounir's met his match.
Yeah, exactly, and it's looking very tough, but I like that option for Mounir to go for the GC N-Sig to punish Acno. Going to the stage once again, we almost get the wall scoop there, and that N-Sig is just big enough to cover the entire wall due to Demon Island, but we see a big downward spike on that signature. Mounir fights back with another side air. Acno hasn't been on top of these edge guard sequences, it's giving Mounir a lot, but Acno got the juggle now. He gets the recovery. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Acno getting the blaster's recovery to take it off the top. Up a stock now, taking the lead right back from Mounir.
I know, 2 critically failed hits coming out from Mounir, especially that failed down air at the very end allowed Acno to get that juggle into the stock KO. Acno takes the lead. Remember, he was the first one to lose the stock between these two in game 1, but now another failed recovery. Mounir trying to over-aggress, needs to compensate for the lack of damage, finally does so, evening the stocks once again. But this is that first game. And being hot off the trails of a Game 5 against Saphir, you can tell Mounir is shaking off that rust.
Definitely gotta compose yourself versus this Diana pick, and now Mounir has it all under control right now. This orb juggle has been so good, getting multiple nairs and sidelights catching landings. Acno having a resort to going into the corner and find some reprieve, but a GC downlight into recovery has been very scary now as the reversal comes through from Acno, but Acno is struggling to break and get some reprieve from the pressure because the down air sends downwards, and Acno having to get back to the stage, but can he make it back? No, he cannot. Mounir is too accurate with the orb, taking game number 1 with the double down airs coast to coast.
Mounir's orb is scary, dude. I mean, for most of that last stock, it looked for sure that Acno had all the stage control you could possibly need, had every advantage option. Suddenly, 2 down airs come out. Acno is drowning below the blast zone, and he's just not able to get back onto the stage. What a solid game number 1 from Mounir's end, but you gotta see the gears are turning on Acno's side. He's recognizing that Mounir is rushing at him. And with a lot less stage space in game number 2 on Fortress of Lions, I think Acno could get that proper spacing to get a lot of downlights, into combos that he needs.
Yeah, it's just kind of like this. You have to have some sort of like resort or a plan B, I guess, when you like whiff a blaster's light attack on the ground. This soft platform might give Acno the opportunity to either sit under it so that Mounir can't shark or like drop on his head effectively. And also you're like a smaller stage, so you're able to kind of force Mounir in bad spots quicker. And already it's showing to be so as Mounir stuck in the corner. Yeah, it's just like really, really good play from Acno. You really need to slow it down a little bit. But yeah, because Mounir is just going to do that. D-Light into Nair, into another Nair. Acno getting juggled quite a bit of cider. Send him off stage, and Mounir now 1 hit away from taking the stock. And there it is. He's so accurate on the orb edge guard. The down air is just enough at 100 damage to KO that close to the blast zone. And Acno now having to work from behind here.
You know, if there's anything like game number 1, it won't be long for Acno to convert this first stock against Mounir. Just a matter of finding the way in. Mounir, though, great pivot already. He goes for 1 sig after another. The gravity cancel is out. A weapon throw in the air. Mounir goes in deep. This is scary, but it's doable. Sweat beads were out for Acno. It could have gone from bad to worse. But right now, if you're Mounir, you're just looking to rack up damage. Stock has been out, though. Acno, though, deep on orange. Still has a lot to catch up, PJ.
He's finding a lot of success on the blasters, forcing Mounir in the corner, and it's easier said than done because Mounir is just so accurate. The falling nair, almost like a drag down situation there into the side signature. I know that's not a true confirm, but it's really, really tricky to deal with, especially because it was so low on that nair. And having to dodge there on that very quick timer, very tough to do.
I think it gets to a certain point where it's like, who cares if it's a true confirm, right? You still got the stock, you're still relaying so much insurmountable damage against Acno that you might as well make it a true confirm.
Goes a run up down sig. Acno getting an appropriate punish with a D-Light into side air. And Mounir has to make it back. Acno really respecting Mounir now on the landings, but there the D-Light into recovery will call out the side light from Mounir. Now Acno with an opportunity here. It's not quite over yet. Diana having some of the cheese potential, but also just great damage output in general.
It's just these punishes I'm worried about. Mounir has been finding so many opportunities when Acno misses. What a spot dodge from Acno and into the punish. That's absolutely what we need, but it has to be frame perfect.
Okay. Oh, Mounir gets another scoop on the down. Like, these anti-airs are so solid. The weapon toss as well. Acno forcing himself and fighting out of the corner with a side light into nair. We get a D-Light into recovery. It's not enough, but it disarms Mounir, the GC Ensig, to try to get an anti-air out in time. But Mounir now disarmed. Acno disarmed and an orb gets picked up. The weapon toss immediately saying, I want to do this with a spear. Going for a big side stick, but Acno punishes with the unarmed nair. And now it comes down to this last hit. Mounir, what are you doing? Throwing the weapon away, and Acno clutches it with a GC downlight into side air. Mounir with two big crucial weapon toss misses, and Acno capitalizes in a big way.
Oh man, I love, again, the gears again are turning in Acno's head. I like the idea of what Mounir was doing for that final engagement. Obviously you go back and watch it, it's like, oh, you should have kept the weapon, right? But because Mounir loves to go for those side sigs and neutral sigs on the spear, he wanted to switch it up at the very end, knowing full well that an unarmed recovery could have been enough to convert that second game, but he just missed.
This is going to be a very, very close game 3, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as we go back to Demon Island, a stage that we already saw in game number 1. I'm honestly impressed with Acno. Like, he was getting, at a lot of times, almost like controlled completely by Mounir, but he's still able to stay in the game and feel really confident. And that's hard to do with a legend, or sorry, like a pick like Blasters that doesn't have a lot of great ways to deal with grounded or stacked opponents. Like, Acno is just so precise, even in these scramble situations that Mounir is really forcing on him. Hope to see more of that for Acno. If I'm Mounir, I mean, that's just a very unfortunate, like, almost a fumble at that end point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Whoa! Whoa, that KO'd off the top so early!
Okay.
Mounir going all the way off the top with the spear recovery, and he goes for the fist bump there. Acno is not feeling any sort of friendship right now as he gets the D-Light into side air, and he immediately takes this advantage as much as he can. I cannot believe that KO'd off the top.
I cannot believe that either. Acno already just faced something similar against Zafir. Game 5, he is seeing red. Does not want to go through that again. Oh, good comeback though from Mounir now. Sides have swapped. Mounir now in the seat to try to catch up against Acno. One thing I want to highlight though from the last game is that we saw a lot of spot dodge punishes from Acno's side off blasters. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that more. Mounir's such a punish heavy player that if Acno can anticipate when these hits will come next and spot dodge it properly, never mind, and your flawless second stock from Mounir. Acno's down to 1.
I cannot believe Mounir keeps finding these conversions from orb aerials, very like low orb aerials into side sig, and then getting the weapon toss as well. Mounir finding a way to steal away that stock essentially off stage, off of a down air, something that, you know, said to in a bad spot, but you don't traditionally think is going to combo into anything. Mounir trying to wait there and react to Acno, but a D-Light into recovery will connect. And another weapon toss finally meeting its mark. Nice side air, and Acno going for the down sig in the corner once again, but he just can't find it as Mounir is somehow avoiding these down sig that are very, very lethal at this point.
Neutral sig. Catches out Acno. Second one doesn't. Side air doesn't connect. Mounir, though, stage control should be proper. Acno's playing a very dangerous game. Weapon throw, recovery. It's down to this, though. Can it be enough? Acno, no weapon whatsoever. Glimpses of game number 2, and Mounir did the same.
Pick up the orb here now, and Acno is just realizing, okay, you're on orb. I got to play at these weird ranges and get a whip punish. We find one there. Mounir having no dodge, eats a full combo. The weapon toss comes out. The down air unarmed, but it's sweat beads from Acno. Mounir makes it back with an air. Acno fights right back down with the sweat beads down air, but a recovery comes in, and it's not enough to KO quite yet. But Mounir, knowing he needs one sideline, one signature even on the orb, and we're going to stick to it as he knows this orb has a consistent way to find the KO option. The recovery comes in, but Acno now, with blasters in hand, can make something crazy happen. Thought he was going to go for a down air there as Mounir crossed right through him on the blasters, but he gets hit by that orb recovery.
Patience is a virtue. Acno having the most of it. Mounir, though, comes back in full force, takes the lead. 2-1 now over Acno. Lower semis. This could very well be Acno's final game in Sourcecode.
I'm really happy to see Mounir kind of slowing it down there at the end and then realizing, okay, Acno's on the ledge. I can kind of hold center stage and just wait for him to do an option. He did wait. He gets the side-like cider. As you said, patience is a virtue, and it's really cool to see.
It's a matter now what this Diana pick can change going to game number 4. So far, Acno has dialed it down quite a bit, waiting for these punish opportunities against Mounir, who again, he himself hasn't changed the strategy too much. Just go in, full fury, overwhelm, and completely flood over Acno. But it's these early stock leads that have made the most difference. Sometimes we see Acno take that first lead, then Mounir, but it's always 1-to-1 stocks down to the final hit at the very end of each of these games. All down to a single mistake each. No changes going into game number 4. Really depends now on the stage. We've seen Fortress of Lions, Demon, and Miami. Well, it'd be enough, though. We go to Western Air Temple.
I'm pretty curious to see how this gets strike through if you're the side of Acno, because I feel like Spear has a lot of control on a map like this, and I think Orb is not the best weapon on this stage, but it's still very playable. So now you're seeing Acno, who might benefit from the platforms being, close to the ledge. Maybe we're going to be seeing more of that playing in the corner and waiting for Mounir to whiff from Acno, and Acno already getting into the action. That center part of the stage not having a soft platform gives you great juggle potential for both players here. Mounir getting an end light there, beating out a recovery option. Now Mounir knowing, okay, I smell blood in the water, I can go for an edge guard. He didn't get much there, but I like that being very on top of it for Mounir.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of escape options for Mounir with these double platforms over what Acno's kit provides. But then again, if you keep resting towards the edge, you won't have to worry about the platforms, huh? Down air does not connect.
I thought he was going to go for dodge through down sig there. That seemed like a very clear potential spot for that, but Acno has been pretty disciplined on the down signature usage, really only finding it when Mounir is getting antsy. But as I say, getting antsy on that platform, we see a dash off, get immediately punished by an end sig from Acno. That's going to KO extremely early.
Definitely not expected from Mounir. Acno with these sudden options works so well. I love seeing it. Down air into side air. Really good. Mounir struggling to find a way in this matchup. He's getting juggled so much on the ledge. Okay, there we go. Good string.
Double D like ground pound there, utilizing all of the lack of dodge from Acno for the most potential damage, and also getting the most potential knockback there, finding the KO. Mounir trying to dash in and out, but gets hit with the down light into the recovery, and Acno now putting Mounir on his last stock in game number 4. You got to be so careful here if you're Mounir.
And this is the biggest lead we've seen from either one of these players this entire set. A full stock. Yeah. But we've also seen how quick both these players can even it up. Mounir has every option of doing a gravity cancel neutral sig. Down air finally connects. Make that twice over. Sweat beads are out. Another down air. And Acno drowns below the surface. It catches up once again. Unbelievable.
Really, really cool stuff there. Shades of Flores and his Nimue at CEO getting all the down airs that he needs to beat a Blasters player back into submission off stage. We see the Nair into the weapon toss, and now Mounir having the orb is going to be able to output so much damage. Weapon toss picks up a spear. Acno still without a weapon, getting weapon starved by Mounir. Finally going to be able to pick up a pair of blasters, and hopefully this could give him some sort of control of this space, because Mounir is running away with this game.
Mounir's adding pressure, but he's not going in for an attack immediately. Not ones with a maximum impact. He's looking for an opportunity to get into Acno. He's giving Acno that respect. Weapon throw does not connect. Okay, recovery's out. Gravity cancel, neutral light does not focus much. Mounir, orb now.
Nice.
We've seen the damage it can do. PJ, this is scary. A single hit from either one of these players could be the end. Side air. Gravity cancel.
He avoids that GCD light.
All right,
No confirms off the side light there. So we don't get much, and Mounir gets another pogo. Oh, jeez, he avoids a recovery, barely with a very late dodge and gets a nair off of it. But there it is. That's going to be a recovery on the bow for acno to take that game and force game number 5. When he dodged through that first recovery, I thought Mounir was cooking, but it just wasn't enough as acno was able to confirm that last stock with that bow recovery.
Just a matter now of seeing. Again, I like how acno was switching it up in game number 4. He was going for more sudden options. He was catching Mounir off guard. Like that neutral sig in the first stock was unbelievable, but we've seen how crazy this Nimue can be to take stocks back. I mean, we've seen a lot of 0 to KOs pretty much instantaneously off of Mounir in this set. Just want to see now that steam doesn't run out for game 5. Back to Demon Island we go.
Gonna be very exciting. We get the venue that we saw in game number 1, so we go all the way back in game 5. And it seems like Mounir has just found so much success on this stage. I believe he won all 2 games on Demon Island. So as we go back here in game number 5, I'm interested to see what acno is going to bring to the table that's different this time. He's tried the corner strategy. He's tried like very consistent juggling, but Mounir's kind of beaten both of those strategies. And we'll see acno maybe take a rushdown approach here on this bow, landing with a lot of side airs, getting nairs, and end lights to get anti-airs. And already it's working out for acno.
Yeah, I think acno's macro in this matchup has been a lot more solid than Mounir's. He's recognizing now exactly when Mounir likes to engage and how he'll do it. He has swapped it up quite a bit. Mounir, however, again, rushdown strategy has worked very well. Unfortunate 2 signatures in a row that don't connect. Mounir's looking for an opportunity in another failed signature from acno's end, but at least the recovery does connect. Mounir, off the hands of so many of those failed signatures, is able to stay alive in stock number 1, but a failed sig of his own leads to acno with a huge down air punish.
Wow, Mounir barely making back, and he flips it there as acno dips a little bit too low below the stage and the down air comes out. Really smart for Mounir. He timed his last jump with an orb nair to kind of put a hitbox above him, and then acno had to dip below it to try to get a punish, and he immediately punished it with a jump off the wall down air. So smart from Mounir, and that's a great way to be very on top of your defensive options and also get back in this game, as acno now is struggling to find this KO. The end light will surely confirm it, though, as we go to even stocks in game 5.
Great panic option there, bring out the neutral light. Even stocks once again. Now, we did see at the end of the final stock, game 4, Mounir slow down his gameplay quite a bit. Remember, this is an elimination game for either of these players. I imagine now each stock that passes by, Mounir will play slower and slower, and acno will get more and more advantages in the process. There it is. Spear back out. 2 failed hits from both sides. Ledge guard, gravity cancel, neutral sig, sends acno across the stage, but he survives.
Side light, D light, end light, the classic on the bow, and acno's happy to take that damage he can versus Mounir, as Mounir has slowly been lapping him in this damage and just knows he needs one big hit. The down sig comes out on the orb, a very tricky triangular hitbox on that one, but acno is going to be very on top of it here, looking for that side light, but a GC down sig will be enough to reversal, and acno stealing the stock lead there as he was down by about 40 damage, and now he's up a stock.
But PJ, acno has the lead. This is elimination stock for Mounir, and he's bringing a lot of signatures that aren't connecting. Are these panic signatures?
It could be Mounir sometimes and struggle to close out stocks, but they're not showing any forms of struggling, and I want to see him kind of compose himself and realize, you know, he can play the war of attrition and keep up on this Nimue pick.
This has been every single game now in this set. Down to the final stock, nearly even. Mounir been able to find so many advantages, but like you said, PJ, it's Demon Island. Mounir's only one on this stage in the set, and acno hasn't. A failed neutral sig.
We need to see a big kind of swing for either player to see really who has this chance here, as the nair extends into a juggle, gets a recovery, but acno lands right back down with a blaster's down there. We missed the end light. Footsies from acno with a turnaround side light, but no conversion off of it, not really anticipating hitting it. The D light into recovery does drop. That could have been it. Another D light, another recovery. Is that enough? No, it's not. Mounir picked up an orb to refresh it so he doesn't get disarmed, and acno going a little bit too far off stage with that side light, and now Mounir getting an opportunity to weapon starve acno. This is shades of the last game, and acno is still able to clutch it out. Can Mounir make this weapon starve work? We see an end sig, but acno punishes, and acno steals the game away unarmed, and acno wins game 5.